Grand afternoon. I'm coming to shop now. I suppose this is about nationality. This post is about nationality. It's about saying to British Moors, or those that would classify themselves, those that describe themselves or that are described as people from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Martinique, lots of other places that are, and their descendants that have been born on the British Isles. There are many things happening in the world at the moment that mean that those groups, those people that would be described as those terms are formerly mentioned, I'm going to describe as melanated, rich, beings. I'm being careful about the language that I use, because the language that we use very often, it seems to me, denotes a status or a classification. Okay, and I'm now know categorically and there's another word that escapes me that goes alongside categorical, and it's not my opinion what it is that I am saying about the importance of knowing and being able to proclaim and announce publicly and to other melanated peoples and to the world of melanated peoples. There are peoples that are melanated rich and those that are not as melanatedly rich. So it's declaring that, and I'm speaking particularly to the melanated riches, and as I've said before, those that are considered or may consider themselves from the Caribbean. In particular, I'm speaking specifically to those groups of people. When I say sort out your nationality, be sure and know what your nationality is. Why? Because it is only through nationality, through declaring your nationality, that you are protected under international treaty and law. In international treaty and constitution, the British Constitution, it protects you and it puts you in a status, or it gives you a status which moves you outside. It gives you a status that means you are not subject to UK Crown rules, laws, etc. And also it establishes, and you will have to establish and make known what the obligations are of the United Kingdom Crown Corporation to you as a national, as as British, and as British more, by claiming your nationality, and by knowing your nationality. Part of being a national, being British more, means that you understand what those obligations are that are owed to you by the United Kingdom Crown Corporation, and for you to know what your birthright and hereditates are, and in what ways you hold a allodial and inalienable and unalienable right to these lands known as Great Britain. And to know that from an international treaty, as well as a constitutional perspective, and also to be able to stand in or to be cognizant of what those responsibilities, or the responsibilities that you have as British subject, as British more, and as British subject, to know what those are. And part of that also is to know about, not just about British history, but also about the history of Europe and the history of the world as perceived and understood by Moors, Moorish history. So, I'm saying these things as my comprehension grows about what it means to be British, more British. Yeah, what it means, and also how scary, frightening it is to step into that comprehension. Not that I'm trying to lighten the mood or to distract away from the seriousness of what has occurred for me to be saying these things from a position of comprehending, if you will, or understanding who Moors were, who I am, and who the people that claim to be or consider themselves as white English, white European, to comprehend how the narrative that I've been told, or that's been instructed, that's come down about the history of the operations that have taken place that give rise to the narrative of the superiority of white Europeans over those that have been classified by those that classify themselves as white British as black, Negro, African Caribbean, Jamaican, Trinidadian, whatever these terms are, and they are just terms that are that have been given as a means to hide the truth about, as an example, who's indigenous to the lands that we refer to as Great Britain and as America. So with that in mind, it's been a difficult journey for me to get to this point. So, but I feel compelled, and it is my civic duty and responsibility to share this knowledge. It's not knowledge. To share this truth. As I understand it, I'm encouraging people to do their own due diligence. And to check it out for themselves, because it's going to be important that people do check things out for themselves. It's not a COVID cough, by the way. The man flu one. So that you can step into whatever it is that you need to step into in terms of your identity. I reluctantly use that word. As you step into your living man or woman, as you become sovereign, as you become national, as you become who your ancient mothers and fathers needed you to be for this time. Because we're in a time when we each are going to have to confess our own. And confessing our own means whatever that means to you. I know what it means to me, and I know what it means for people that look like me, that herald or that are considered or consider themselves or being classified as people from the Caribbean in particular. That, what does it mean? It means that there are certain things that are being fulfilled at this time. There are certain responsibilities that are to be taken up at this time based upon those things that are to be fulfilled. Not because I wrote them, it got nothing to do with me in many respects. All I'm here to do is do what I need to do as I understand it needs to be done. What is occurring in the world is not by accident, and it is saying, I say that the Most High is asking, demanding that we return to the knowledge and the attitude of our ancient mothers and fathers. So this is a process of me doing that, and I'm encouraging everyone to know your ancient mothers and fathers, to know their pedigree, to know who you are, in order for you to comprehend how to navigate and find a way through these times that we are living in. And to protect yourselves, to protect yourselves from those forces that seek to imprison, to enslave, to mischaracterize, to continue to misinform, to lie, to deceive, and perpetuate a lie. 13 minutes, not doing too bad. So there's some big stuff that's coming out, and shortly, and I'm going to be sharing more about what I've discovered about the 3 documents in particular, really. One of them is the doctrine of discovery, which I'm going to describe as finders keepers doctrine that was developed and designed and created by European nations, namely Germany, France, England. I'm making a distinction between England and Great Britain, and the United Kingdom too, because the United Kingdom is the organisation, is the company that runs, and England's actually the bank that captures the money or the resources, and for the United Kingdom Crown Corporation, of which the Queen Elizabeth II is head of, and therefore head of the Commonwealth, or the colonies that are connected to the Commonwealth, which were formerly, in my view, I'm yet to finish the research on this, which were probably part of the British Empire. Okay, when you understand more about what Britain means, and what British means, then you can see why there may well be an empire, a British Empire, an empire that is devoted to and remembers its covenant with the Most High. You know, and those lands that are part of that empire are covenant lands. Something to think about. And also, this is why I'm imploring in many respects, say, melanated people to get their act together and discover what your nationality is, and to declare it and proclaim it publicly, ASAP. Yeah, not just for your benefit, not just to preserve whatever assets it is that you have and have acquired over how much time you have been here, but also to protect and preserve the sovereignty of your children and your children's children, and also to restore the knowledge of our ancient mothers, of your ancient mothers and fathers. So on that note, I'm going to be trying to do that with a bit of humour, hither and thither. You'll notice that I'm in my lower level learning environment. It's stood up a little while today. And I'm in front of piano, and I've always fancied being British. I've watched what was considered to be great British comedy back in the day. So I was, and I'd got a thing for Les Dawson. I think probably there's going to be some stuff come out about him as well, probably. A lot of my people that I enjoyed watching as a child, here in Great Britain, as a child, turned out to be wrong uns. All of them, just about. But I'm not anything about Les Dawson or Ronnie Corbett. And I fancy myself these days as a bit of a potentially black Ronnie Corbett, or I'm nowhere near as good a pianist as Les Dawson, because I can't sing and play for a start. I can just about play a little bit. So to be able to talk and play would be really good. And I'd like to be able to play badly really well. Really well, but I can't. So I can just about concentrate on playing the piano. But I'm hoping to be able to really do this whilst sharing some knowledge and information. But I'm not making any promises. So that's what I'm hoping to do, bring a bit of levity, but I don't want to take away from the fact that this is serious, it's heavy, it's big, it's frightening, it's scary, and time's moving on quickly. The time now is to act. It's not a time for sitting back and just watching and seeing and being an observer and being a bystander. It's not a time for looking for leaders. It's not a time for followers either, really. It's more of a time for self-governance. I've got that chord then. Oh, that works. Self-governance and what else? In order, actually, to be able to stand, let's try to get to one right first time. Oh yes. Stand in your own truth. Yeah. So that's what I'm able to be able to do. I didn't do that very well, but I am glad that I'm able to do it, and I'm able to say it in the way that I needed to say it. So until the next time. Oh, I did say something about the doctrine of discovery. That's one, finders keepers rule. I'm going to be saying something about the secret Treaty of Verona, and also the noir codes, or the black codes, secret black codes. Again, now those three create, if you like, a triangle, the cornerstone or the devil's triangle of the cornerstones, if you will, of operations, of all current operations that have taken place since the 1500s, mid-1500s, until now. They are, if you like, the rationale, the concept, the desire, the plan for the world to be running in, or to run in the way that it is as it does currently. Okay, that's 1500. So you know, the doctrine of discovery is an agreement that allowed for the taking of people's lands, i.e. finders keepers. So if I see it and I like it and I want it, you agree to back me up and I can have it. You sort me up, you help me to get it, and you support me, you back me in taking it, doing whatever, and equally I'll do the same for you. So that is the doctrine of discovery. The secret Treaty of Verona basically goes on about 24 minutes. Goes on about secret Treaty of Verona. Again, very similar. A document that agrees. I'll say more about it when I'm running out of juice. I'll say more about it. But the secret Treaty of Verona, again, another agreement which, if you like, solidifies the doctrine of discovery, put some meat on the bones, put some legislation around it, but also refines the methods that are going to be used that nobody's supposed to know about. And the secret black codes, well, they're not actually that secret, they're called the noir codes. Not so secret, but again, more refinement, and actually, from what I can recall, give rise to the the 14th Amendment, which allows for indigenous peoples, because it's not in statute, as I say, it's another secret document, that makes it illegal and unlawful forever for indigenous peoples to own land and or property, and will be cast into perpetual servitude. I say a secret called the secret codes, secret black codes, noir codes, between France, again, Germany, England, under the guise of Great Britain, I might add, and even Germany at that time. By which time the original indigenous of Germany, who were Moors, as all of Europe was Moor, various shades of colour. Moors isn't about colour, by the way. Okay, might have to share some information about that, about the indigenous of not so much of South Africa, but an indigenous white population from Africa that moves into South Africa. Okay, so yes, there are some indigenous, very lightly melanated. Don't know. I'm trying to move away from this notion of colour as being descriptors for humanity, and also determining the pedigree, the nationality of particular groups of people. Did you know there are 32 classifications of black? 32. Now, no. And I think, again, this is all a ruse and a guise to mislead and to write melanated people out of history. So until the next time, a little tinkle before I go, because I have to run around the piano here. To switch the thing off, that's probably why I'm not reached over. So until the next time. Go well. And may your ERP remain strong. That's what I was trying to remember. Can't think and play. And if you think about one, think about playing or think about speaking. May your ERP remain strong. Till the next time.